Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I hope you practiced the strategy that I gave you in the previous videos and you have seen some good results. If you have seen some good results, then stick around. Today we're going to be talking about Euro USD, and this is the 2-hour time frame. We're going to use the same strategy. Our strategy is simple. We combine support and resistance, demand and supply with top-down analysis. It is called the Tricon strategy. I know it might be looking like some other strategies outside there, but this is how I understand mine better. You can choose to use it, or you can choose to use others. It is still the same. The concepts are the same. There's nothing new. You just have to know how to arrange it logically for it to give you whatever you want. Now, without further ado, subscribe to the channel and let's jump into the video. So I'm going to start by stating the rules that govern the strategy. And I always tell you, you must have a rules-based strategy in order for you to succeed in this thing. If you only want to be consistent in the market, then you should have a rules-based strategy. So rule number 1 says go to your high time frame. So rule number 1 says go to your high time frame. On your high time frame, that is where you want to see the structure of the market. You want to mark out the chart patterns that you can see. You want to mark out supply and demand zone. You want to mark out support and resistance zones, and also identify the market direction. Also look at the candlesticks. How are the candlesticks looking? What are they communicating? Rule number 2, mark structures. Mark structures on the high time frame. Good. So rule number 3, you want to drop to medium time frame. After the high time frame has given you confirmations, drop to MTF, which is the medium time frame. So after the high time frame has given you confirmation, you want to drop to your medium time frame and look for more confirmations. Look at the immediate trend of the market, refine your zones perfectly, and then wait for the market to give you confirmation. Then you drop to entry time frame or lower time frame. Now these are the only rules that I use when I'm trading this strategy. These rules are going to be governing you through a step-by-step breakdown. Now for me, it is simple to state them down and follow them because I've been doing it for the last 1 year, and it is very simple to apply them. However, for you it might be a little bit hard because each and every step that I've stated here in form of rules, it has its details or nitty-gritties that you have to go through in order for you to be able to apply this strategy perfectly. But it's a very simple and applicable strategy, structured. You can do it over and over again, provided you're following those simple rules. When you don't see anything on the high time frame, the medium time frame, the entry time frame, you simply don't enter until you get those confirmations. So now let's go and apply this to the real chart. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I told you the first 2,000 subscribers, like I did for the first 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give them a big discount. The first 20 people who are subscribers, when we get to 2K subscribers, I'm going to give them a big discount. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel and be part of that. So you can also WhatsApp me. That is the number. People have been saying that my own number is not on WhatsApp. That is the number. Just copy it the way it is and then send a hi on my WhatsApp, request for mentorship or request for the book. The mentorship is only $100 and the book is only $10. And remember, this is the last year we are doing mentorship. Enough of all the games. You don't get it this year, you'll have to watch the videos until when you learn. Good. So now let's proceed. So rule number 1 says go to your highest time frame. Which time frame is this? This is the 2-hour time frame. Now I know on the 2-hour time frame we can see a demand zone here. Very good. Demand zone which is looking like it's being retested, and then we can also see another zone down here. Good. They're looking good, but you don't want to trade those ones. What you want to do is you want to go to the high time frame and see what the high time frame is saying, because trust me, the market respects the structures and the zones on the high time frame than anything else. So I'm just going to go to my high time frame, which is the daily time frame, and today I'm having the 45 minutes and 30 minutes, and I'm going to show you why I have them. I sometimes use them, but I rarely do go there. However, when the zones are not that clear, I try to use them. So I think this one should go down, and then we have our rules up here. So when I go to the daily time frame, which is my high time frame, I can see that, remember, I can see that I have a market that is going to the upward. This is an uptrend market. You can see high, higher low, high, which is change of character, higher low, high, break of structure. Now maybe you are looking to make a higher low before we can proceed to the upside. That is what I'm saying. Maybe it is not something that is confirmed, but maybe that is what we are looking to do. Good. Now, following our rules, we want to go to the high time frame. We're already in the high time frame. Then we have to mark out our structures. Now, I'm looking for any demand and supply zones, so or support and resistance. But I can see we have a demand zone here, clean demand zone. I will mark it. Then I can see we have a supply zone up here, clean supply zone. I'll mark it. You want to know why I mark the supply zones and demand zone like that? You can get my book. It is only $10. Just WhatsApp me and you get it. Or you can join the mentorship. The mentorship would be better, guys, because even the mentorship comes with a book. You get the mentorship, you get the book for free. So, and you get also the knowledge. And you're going to be there until when you learn. So I think the mentorship is better. Now, what do you want to do? We can either, you remember the other demand zone that we saw on the 2 hour? We can either use that demand zone to buy up to only up to here, or we can wait for price to get to this zone, and then we can look for sell opportunities in case price respects the supply zone. How do I know this? It's because I've come to the high time frame. Now, do we go back to the 2 hour time frame? Get our demand zone, this one here, this demand zone, and see if price is going to but looks like it already tapped into the zone with this week. Let me just see if price is going to get there and proceed to the upside. Or yeah, I think it already got to the zone by this week. That's why it went to the upside. Now let's just go back to our high time frame. But it was a good buy. Now when we come to the high time frame, you can see that little short movement that we made, it pushed us into this supply zone and gave a sniper entry, and immediately price dropped down. Now if you had set your sell limits here, you would be in deep profits. However, it is not a good idea to set your sell limits on the daily supply zone. The stop loss is going to be huge and you will not have any confirmations. Yes, price might come and react from it and sell and give you some profits like it has done, but most of the times you're going to be stopped out. And you don't want to be betting on luck every time. You have to be with some level of certainty when you're going to enter your trade. That is why we have these rules governing us. So how do we use these rules? Simple. We've marked out our structures. We have our demand zone. Let me just refine this to there. We have our demand zones. We have our demand zones and supply zones. Good. Now we wait for price to come into our zone, give us confirmation, and then we follow our rules, drop down to the medium time frame. For now, we are not doing anything. Let's just wait for price to come into the zone. Now it continues to drop. Yes, this is none of your business. If price continues to drop with this sniper entry, you shouldn't be in a hurry to get anything. What you should be doing is now wait for it to come to the demand zone and follow the same rules. Remember, you want to trade at a strategic point, at an area of interest, what some people call point of interest. You want to trade at a high probability zone. You don't want to trade in the middle of nowhere. So when price is doing this rubbish, do not panic. Wait. I mean, you wait, even if it is for days, because this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is around 4 days of you waiting, around a full week. Wait. That's why I told you it's not a good idea to always trade one pair. It has never been a good idea to always deal with one thing at a time. I know they always tell you do one thing at a time, but it doesn't do with trading, it doesn't do with relationships, it doesn't do with job opportunities, it doesn't do with anything that causes you to be financially stable. Think about relationships, for example. If you're dealing with one partner at a time, it's always going to be difficult for you, for them to trust you 100% or to give you all the attention that you need, because they know you are all that they are all that you have. If in case of anything you're afraid of losing them, that's why there's always going to be tension and panic. But if they know that even if you lose them, you're going to get someone else, they always respect you, they always give you the attention that you deserve. Same thing with a job. If you only have one job, there's always going to be that pressure and tension, knowing that if I lose this, I'm done. But if you have many opportunities of you making money, you won't tolerate any disrespect or at your workplace, you won't tolerate any pressure at your workplace, you're just going to go to the next opportunity that you're doing on the side. Same thing with anything that requires attention. Now, when we come back to our trading, it is the same thing. When you're trading one pair, you know that your two things are going to happen. It's either you're going to trade on the lower time frame, which is minutes time frame, or 1 hour below time frame, because you want to get more opportunities, which is low probability time frames, or you're going to be forced to chase the trades because you fear to lose a setup. When you lose one, it's going to take days for you to get another setup because you trade on the high time frame. Now, have many pairs that you're monitoring, in that when this setup goes, you know it is not high probability anymore, you go to another setup which is ready as you wait for this to get ready. Good. Now let's proceed. So price has dropped up to here. So what do? You wait. Now see what happens the next day. An engulfing candle, for that matter. An engulfing candle, guys. So if you had entered the sales at around this zone, you would be stopped out by this candle. So what do? We wait for that to reach into our supply zone. Now the next 2 days we have bullish momentum to the upside. Good. Play again, we get that candle, bearish candle. Let me play again and see, and then we get another bearish candle. Now after touching the supply zone again, we get one candle and another bearish candle. This one is our confirmation to drop down to the medium time frame and see what is happening, because we are at our supply zone. So we want to go to our medium time frame and see what is happening, which is the 4-hour time frame. So now when I come to the 4-hour, I can see that price made a high, a low, a higher high, an equal low, and then retraced up. Now this is what people call a head and shoulder. This is what people call a head and shoulder if you got the line chart clearly. So what the rules tell us, simple, we are not going to do anything. What we want to do to see here is price break, give us a change of character on the 4-hour, and also give us a break of structure. Then we start looking for our setups for entry. Now that is going to be a high probability setup. Why? Because the high time frame is in agreement with the medium time frame, and now we're on the lower time frame to get supply zone and start selling the market. Okay, let's proceed now. So the candle that opens still goes up, you still wait. All that is happening for you, you're just waiting to see what is going to come next. I play another candle, then we get, now this one is what we call a change of character. How do we get the change of character? After closing below the previous low. This one here, I said this was our previous lower low, then we had an equal low. Now price has closed below this previous lower low. This is now what we call a change of character. Is this enough for us to enter? Some people would want to use this supply zone to enter early entries, but me, I'm conservative. I need to see more confirmations with a break of structure, because when price is trending down, we see break of structures. Good. So what do? We wait, then we play more. Price goes up, retraces, which is good, and then I play another candle. Price ranges for a little bit, then gives us what we call a break of structure down here. That is a break of structure, because this is the previous low. This was the low that was broken. This is the low that has been broken, and price closed below. Remember, this is a 4-hour candle, so you don't have to take it lightly. A 4-hour candle. Now, this is our confirmation to drop down to the entry time frame. So I'm just going to mark this zone, because I expect the supply zone to be here, because that is the area that led to the break of that structure. So I expect the supply zone to be there. Now I drop down to my entry time frame, which is the 1 hour, and see my supply zone. You can see that it is clearly, the structure is clearly broken on the 1 hour. Price has closed below, but you can see a change of character happened long time. This is the break of structure on the 1 hour. On the 4 hour, it was still ranging. So I'm just going to refine this here, and then drop down. I think this one I got it on the 30 minutes, where I was able to refine 30 minutes here, where I was able to refine it clearly up to this zone to make the stop losses tight and small. Good. So at this point, you're at least 70% sure that price is now in a downtrend, because you have done your work from the high time frame, medium time frame. Now you're on the lower time frame to only look for entry setups to the downside. You're only looking for sell setups to the downside. There's only one quality that's remaining to make this so perfect. It's not something that I'll tell you. That's something I teach for my mentorship people. Once you see it, you just know it is going down. So let's play price and see. So price retraces, taps into the zone. That is going to be your first entry. Taps into the zone. This is going to be your first entry. How many pips? Stop loss slightly up there, around 15 pips. Now you're going to track your trade from the 4-hour time frame, which is the medium time frame, because if you do it on the 1 hour, the candles are going too many. The first level target is this one here, the previous low, 27 pips, and then the second level target should be down here around 1:4. Second level target 1:4. Now just continue looking for only supply zone, and sell until when you reach this daily demand zone. So now let's proceed. So price drops drastically, which is a very good move, breaking even this previous low. At this point, you have removed your what? You have removed your first level take profit. So this is your second level take profit down here, and the third is all the way down there. So let's proceed. Do we see any supply zone that we can sell from? No. So we don't see any. We continue moving. So let me play price forward. Do we see any? No. If we don't see any, we continue moving. Now price breaks this low and makes this drop clean supply zone. So we're just going to mark this supply zone. The problem is that it has a very huge wick, so I'm just going to cut this wick from here. That supply zone. This good move to the downside gives us another probable entry. Now let's play price forward and see what happens. Price drops, comes back to the zone. Let me mark it again. Comes back to the zone and then starts dropping. So that is going to be a second entry. Remember, I still have the first entry here, and now the second entry you have gotten there. Following the same rules, guys. Following the same rules. Good. So let's see what price does. Boom, price comes down, breaks this previous low, and then hits the daily demand zone. Now at this point, when we have hit the daily demand zone, you should be out of that trade. You have gotten how many pips? Around 220 pips. You should be out of that trade, because price has hit the daily demand zone. It's highly likely the trend is going to be changing. So you're going to follow the same rules to enter the buys if the confirmations come on the daily demand zone. But for now, you should be out of this market. Okay, guys, I think that is all for now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also do not forget to like the video in case you've learned something out of it. The WhatsApp number down here is the number that I use for WhatsApp. You can inbox for mentorship or the book. But strictly for those who don't inbox to tell me, hi, I like your videos, I know you like them because they are good and they are so educative, and this is the only strategy that is so easy for beginners and also good for intermediate traders. If you're not profitable, I urge you to pick up this strategy, because you're not going to find such a strategy on the internet anywhere. Anything else is always complicated with a lot of terms, liquidity sweep, fair value gaps, balances, or whatever. I think, guys, you can see how my strategy has been so simple. You're not hearing about sweep of the Asian high, sweep of the New York session, liquidity sweep. You're not hearing about a fair value gap. You're not hearing about the big buyers, the small sellers coming in at this point. You're not hearing about the Fibonacci levels. You're not hearing about the what are those terminologies. And I'm not saying those things don't work. They do work for the people who use them. But one thing I want you to understand is that trading is already hard. Why make it complicated with a lot of terms, a lot of equations, a lot of fancy, all those things that those flashy traders be talking about? What do you call it? Order block, huh? Make things simple. Make them as simple as they can be, because trading is already hard. So why make it so difficult with other terms? How are new beginners going to learn when you're making everything about terms and one? This is the equal loss, liquidity sweep, whatever. Guys, every strategy has losses. Even mine has losses. I've made several losses on gold last year. Even mine has losses. There is no strategy that is 100% sure, and you shouldn't come to this strategy thinking it is 100% sure. Yes, the win probability is around 75%, so high, 75 to 80%, so high, but it also has losses. The fact that we still have a percentage that is missing, it means it also has losses. So every strategy has losses. So why lose when you have made things so difficult? Lose when things are simple. You won't find it so burdening, because it wasn't simple for you getting a setup. So even if it goes, it's not going to bother you. But when you lose when things are so difficult, it becomes stressing. It becomes a scam. It becomes so embarrassing. You even don't want to engage in such things. Okay, guys, so I think that is all for today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. There's a discount when you hit 2,000 subscribers, and also don't forget to like the video at the end of the day. It helps the algorithm and it also supports the channel. And also, mentorship is on. That is my WhatsApp number. WhatsApp me and ask for mentorship. It's only $100, and the book is only $10. But I recommend the book for people who are not profitable, but they know everything, the basics about forex trading. For people who are beginners, please come for mentorship. You might not go for my mentorship. You can go for any other mentorship, but you have to know that as a beginner, you will need mentorship. You're not only going to learn from videos. It's not going to be easy. Okay, guys, so that is all. Have a great day. We meet again tomorrow. Bye.